Edit, ex-wife left for AP and returned after 10 years and asks to take her back. Thank you for such response. I have missed a lot of detail to tell you guys. First is that I have divorced her before marrying M. I think she don't know as she was nowhere to be located. Second is that I have written L instead of M by mistake. I had full custody of my son as X was nowhere in the picture, but now she is back, so I don't know if my full custody will be maintained or not. Also, my post has been removed, so I am putting original text here, seeking advice on how to handle the situation. Me 34M, my ex-wife 35F, call her X. My neighbor AP, my neighbor's wife 37F, call her M. Me and my wife married in 2009. We had our baby in 2010. In November 2010, while she was asleep, a message pooped on her phone and was a flirty message. I checked on her phone and it was from our neighbor. I went through every single message, which included sexting, sharing nudes, and even had planned meetups at hotels. This was going on from the first week into our marriage. I felt like my world crumbled in front of me. I took screenshots of every message and saved on my phone. Next day I contacted M and let her know about the affair. They were married for 4 years and had their first baby almost exact same time as we had ours. I confronted my wife and told her that I am going to give her divorce. She started crying and everything else, but I did not consider it. I also did paternity test on our child, son, because the affair timeline was same as conception date. After 2 days, when I come home from work, our baby was crying in our bed and X was nowhere to be seen. Then I found a letter of her telling that she did not love me and she had left with AP and to not contact them. I knew this was coming, but I didn't believe that a mother can leave her child, was about 6 months alone, and can run off with her lover. I then went to M's house. She had received same letter by her husband. I felt sorry for her as she was going from postpartum depression, had her baby just a few months ago and was left alone. Also, paternity test result came back and he was my son. I tried to contact X family, but they also didn't know where she was and was shocked by her behavior. Her father even said that if she ever came back she would not be allowed to enter their house. They basically disowned her. L was very supportive. She began coming to my home to watch kids and even breastfed both of them, her and mine. As time passed, we were like family. My son called her mom and had known only her as mom. We also decided to go on dates. We engaged a year later and married in 2013. We had our first child in 2015. We often discussed things about our exes and how we were often disrespected by them. We were happy family. In 2018, when my son accidentally saw a picture of my ex, picture after birth, so it included X, me and him. So we decided to tell him that her birth mother X had died in car accident years ago and L took care of him since he was 6 months old. 2 days ago, I received an anonymous email. I opened it and it read, "I want to see my son and want my family back. We are not divorced yet." I knew it was X. I showed this to L. L started freaking out and asked me if I would take her back. I calmed her down and told her that she was an ugly past and I would never leave you. I would never take her back. Now I am confused what to do. I will definitely not take her back, but should I let her meet my son or not? Should I take my son's opportunity to have connection with her birth mother? If you do decide to let her see your son, I would have her go through your lawyers. You want to make sure you and your family are protected and that if she does see him, it's supervised and set up regularly so she's not coming into your son's life like a wrecking ball and causing him all kinds of grief and confusion. Yes, do everything through lawyers. Everything. All communications. Just give your attorney her info. Let them do it. The peace of mind will be worth the money. Therapist here. Don't lie to your kids about things like this. The lie you chose was awful. If she's not, she can show and expose your lie. And it sounds like that's exactly what she is going to do. Here is my advice. Non-professional, tell your kid the truth. Get a lawyer for you and L right now. She is entitled to custody. She can go to the school, the doctor, wherever, because it's all legal until family court says otherwise. Once you have a lawyer, go to court, establish abandonment, get sole physical and legal custody. Prepare for a fight, you might be facing one. Prepare for her to show up. This means you warn the school/daycare, warn your family, warn your neighbors, your church, your soccer coach and your pediatrician. Delete all of your social media accounts. It doesn't matter if they're private, they're not safe. Put her family on an information diet. Put everyone on an information diet. Do not let anyone see your kids unsupervised. Make sure the kids really know not to talk to strangers. A family may accept her back and try to help her. This is not going to go away until you make it go away. Absolutely not. She was toxic 10 years ago and obviously hasn't changed. She will end up hurting all of you so much more than she already had. No, coming from a child abandoned by their mother who only showed up every 3 years because stepbrother's dad tried to convince her she needed to be part of my life. 1. Telling the kids that your ex died is wrong. You should never have done that. Your son, and likely your other kids, will need therapy, or at the very least, you should consult a psychologist to get advice regarding how to tell them the truth. The more you lie, the likelier he will eventually go live with her and believe whatever excuse she gives him. 2. Assuming you have an actual judgment that gives you full custody, you can ignore her communication entirely or get a lawyer to send her a letter saying visitation is not in the child's best interest. You can then either wait for her to file in court asking for visitation, or you can proactively attempt to have her parental rights terminated, perhaps also having his actual mother adopt him. Child support doesn't usually have an impact on custody, but a reminder that she has not paid child support for 10 years and that there are still many years left where it should be due can help as well. However, only through formal lawyer letter, not by responding directly. 3. You might not be able to prevent visitations from happening. At the very least, ask for a very slow progression with short visits supervised by a social worker or psychologist. 4. Did your wife's ex-husband reappear as well? Expect that he might show up too. 5. Don't panic. I've been in a family dynamic similar to this. In my experience, it would do more harm to your son than good. When he is 18, you can tell him the whole story and let him decide. As an adult, your ex made the decision to leave. If you truly did get a divorce, I would fight with everything I have to maintain custody. She left. You stayed. She's holding on to the past. You're building a new future. She is not going to be a part of your future story. When the time is right, you can give the choice to your son. I would not wait too long to tell the son, because I think the ex would maybe try to contact him and manipulate the truth to make up look like the bad guy. I am 24 and I have been asking my parents to let me cut my hair for years. Maybe 2 months ago we got into a fight about the fact that I wanted to cut my hair short and we didn't talk for a week. I told her I'm 24 and I do not have to ask my mom for her permission to cut my hair. What should I do? So I started cutting my hair slowly, and the back is way shorter than my front, and I'm gonna finally get caught. She got extremely angry at me for even mentioning it, saying that I'm only doing it to bother her and irritate her. I can't do anything to my body without her say so. I know that I'm old enough to do what I want, but I am financially supported by my dad and I live with them due to the fact that I'm in college about to graduate. My hair is pretty curly, so it will probably become very puffy and big, and my mom doesn't like curly hair. My parents still think they can control my life and my body, and I'm sick of it. My parents still think they can control my life. Then stop letting them control your life. Stop asking for permission. Just do it. They pay for school and housing. It's not that I want to, it's just I fear my mother's wrath. Cut your goddamn hair. You're an adult who can drink. It's your decision. Your mum sounds fucked in the head, tbh. Why is she so controlling over your hair? Is she that opinionated regarding other things? Do whatever you want and tell your mum to get over herself. Save and work so you can move out ASAP. She pretty much controls what everything, or gets upset at me and says I'm being disrespectful towards her. She's opinionated over what I wear, my hair, my shoes, when I don't agree with her. I'm looking for work and internships at the moment. And I got accepted into university in Australia, but due to COVID I don't know if I will be able to get here in August, so I applied stateside, but I'm doing everything I can to get out. I just have this massive fear of her. You're an adult. Cut your hair. My mom used to shave my head every summer and now I'm letting it flow purely out of protest and I like having longer hair. At the end of the day it's your hair. If you want to cut it, cut it. The cost of living with your parents is keeping yourself under their thumbs. Is that really worth it to you? How can you become financially independent? Live with a bunch of roommates, get more scholarships, go to school part-time so you can work part-time, side hustles, suck it up until you graduate and get a job. You know what you need to do. Get financially independent. Move out. Cut your hair. Set boundaries with your parents, probably going low to no contact with them. I'm trying to find work and or internships before I graduate. I only have one more semester to pay before I graduate, but I have a scholarship that belongs to my dad for graduate school that would pay most of it off and I'm afraid of losing that. I don't want to live under their thumb, but this last year is my final year and I need to have the time to work and prepare for my thesis, and if I work at the same time I wouldn't be able to complete it. I am looking for outs, but right now this is my best option. My best friend has a crush on my husband. I've been friends with my best friend, both F24, since high school. We were long distance friends for a long time after, so she's only recently gotten to meet my husband. She's back in town riding out the pandemic since it hasn't really hit where we are. I noticed he'd avoid her when she came over. I figured he just didn't like her much. The other day I tried to get him to spend some time with us, but I noticed quickly he was anxious to leave and she was being weird. I asked her jokingly if there's anything I should know and she joked back that she was in love with him. I laughed, made a joke about it being ridiculous, and she said it's not that ridiculous and admitted she had a bit of a crush on him. She was adamant that he didn't know and nothing had or ever will happen. I wasn't bothered that she has a little crush on him, but I was annoyed that she hadn't told me. I brought it up to him and figured out that he already knew. He said he had a feeling but didn't want to tell me because if he was wrong, it could have created a rift in my friendship for no reason. He also said he could tell I enjoyed having her back around and thought if he wasn't interested in her, and I didn't know she was into him, then no harm, no foul. Just like I was with her, I was annoyed with him for not having said something. I'm pretty bad about recognizing when something is a red flag, and my only other relationship ended when he got my other friend pregnant, so I know I'm also paranoid even when I have no reason to be. I struggle with over and underreacting. So my question is, are there red flags I'm missing here? I want to leave it alone, but I keep thinking, what if? Do I leave it alone or probe a little more? What do I even ask if probe more? I would keep her away tbh. Crush on someone's husband is never appropriate. He didn't do nothing wrong. I feel like your husband was trying not to ruin your friendship, and good on him for trying to avoid her, but yes, definitely don't take her to your house anymore. She had the big balls to tell you she was crushing on your husband, disregarding entirely how you might feel. She seems very shady, and that fact your husband picked up on it must be because of something she said / was doing. I'd ask him what exactly made him get the vibe that she was into him, and then you'll see if your friend tried to cross a line. Husband handled this like an ace, don't worry about him. Your friend may not be the devil Reddit is making her out to be either, but it is a little concerning that at 24 she isn't capable of, or, more likely, willing to, immediately swallowing the little butterflies in a situation like this before they grow to the point of making themselves evident.